Hello everyone, you are welcome to my YouTube channel, New Religion Institute, that is dedicated for your personal and your business growth based on religious values. In this video, I will explain something related to the theory of blended spaces. And I dedicated some videos in my channel to explain language and its functioning, either in Arabic or in English mainly, and to teach languages as well. So I explained before what is mental spaces, what are mental spaces, what is a mental space, and what is a blended space. And I explained the difference between both of them. In this video, I will explain, I will clarify something very much important in the theory of the blending space, the blended space, the theory of blending between spaces, of course. This matter that I will explain is related to the concept of vital relations, the concept of vital relations inside the blended spaces. Vital relations are very much important. I will explain this concept first of all. Second, I will provide you or mention some types of vital relations. And third, I will provide you with an example. We will analyze an example. To know the meaning of vital relations, we gotta refer to this very important book that I mentioned before. It's a common book between Gilles Fauconnier and Turner. The title of it is The Way We Think, Conceptual Blending and the Mind's Hidden Complexities. In this book, there is a clarification and an establishment of the theory of blended spaces. What do they say, Fauconnier and Turner, about vital relations? I will read from the book, page 92, and I will explain. Okay? They say, we do not establish mental spaces, connections between them and blended spaces for no reason. So the connection between mental spaces and blended spaces, it's for a reason in our thought, mentally, and it is reflected linguistically, of course. We do this because it gives us global insight, human scale understanding, and new meaning. So when we connect between spaces, we are creative. We are creating new meaning. It makes us both efficient and creative. So it's efficient and creative in the same time. One of the most important aspects of our efficiency, insight, and creativity is the compression achieved through blending. So there is this new concept here, the concept of compression. Compression between spaces. The blending process is meaningful and is allowed in our brains through this process, this technique of compression that is very much important, compressing roles. I'll check something and turn back. Sorry. So let's turn back. In the previous chapter, we saw spectacular compressions of cause and effect in the important smoking cowboy, the baby's scent, and Bertrand de Born. So here they are reminding us that in the previous chapter they explained compression through examples, and I'll take one of these examples. Now let's focus here on the concept of vital relations, to know what are vital relations exactly. Certain conceptual relations, such as cause-effect, show up again and again in compression under blending. So when there is a compression between roles in different mental spaces, when there is a blending, the blending process is based mainly on the compression, okay? When there is blending, there is compression. It's necessary. So these relations, certain conceptual relations that are included in the compression, in the blending process, are recurrent, show up again and again. And here, such as cause-effect. We call these all important conceptual relations vital relations. So vital relations are conceptual relations that are very important. Why? Because they are recurrent, you know. They show up again and again. So they are conceptual relations. These are conceptual relations that are involved in the process of compression between mental spaces. Here they mention cause and effect. So they are multiple, they are many, the vital relations, such as cause and effect. And I'll explain this relation, very important relation, cause and effect, through an example. So vital relations are multiple, as I said. Like in page 101, they mentioned some of them, the main ones. Sorry. For example, change, identity, time, space, cause, effect, part, whole, representation, role. Role is very important. Analogy, disanalogy, property, similarity, category, intentionality, and uniqueness. We'll explain one of them or two. We'll take the role, the vital relation of role, and later on, cause and effect. Part and whole is very important. Maybe I'll explain it in a upcoming video. So a role, oh, is it clear now? Sorry. So a role is very important, and I explained in previous video about mental spaces what is a role and the difference between the role and the value. I mentioned that there is a difference, but I didn't explain thoroughly. So here it's an occasion to explain this. What is a role as as a vital relation. And why a role is a vital relation? It's very important. So they say in the page 98, role is a ubiquitous vital relation. Ubiquitous vital relation. So it's a very important vital relation. It's very salient in our language and our thought. Lincoln was president, Elizabeth is queen, and the president is the head of state. Roles have values. So a role is very much related to its value. Its value. Each role has a value. For example, Lincoln was president. They say Lincoln in 1863 is a value for president. Lincoln in 1863 is a value for president. So president is a role. Its value is Lincoln in 1863. So what do we understand here? We understand that the role is like an empty function that the value fills. President is a function, it's a role, but Lincoln is in 1863 is its value, its content. Elizabeth today is a value for queen. Today in 2002, when they wrote this book, but it's no more nowadays in 2025. It's the King Charles that is the value of King of UK, Great Britain. So before 2022, yes, it's true. Elizabeth is a value for queen. We have the role is queen and Elizabeth is the value. And president in the United States is a value of a head of state. So president was a role here, but it becomes a value in a sentence like when we say, for example, the president is the head of state. When you say the president is the head of the state, the president is no more a role, it's a value. Why? Because the role is the head of state. The head of state is the role and its value is president. Why? Because the head of state is a function, a more general function, more general than the president. The presidents are many, but the head of state is one, is more general. So within mental spaces and across mental spaces, an element can be linked as a role to another element that counts as its value. So roles and values can be within the mental space itself or between across mental spaces. For example, I'll show this. It's bizarre because it's a new one. A new pen. So these are two mental spaces, for example. So we have let's say the first or the second example, Elizabeth, or let's do another example. King Charles is the king. Is king. King Charles, or Charles is king. Charles Charles is king. Huh? So Charles, we have king here as role, and Charles is the value. This is a role, and this is the value. Let's say, for example, A and B. Huh? So the first input, which is here, the kingdom, the input, for example, one, it's the kingdom, the concept of kingdom. Huh? In the concept of kingdom, there is an element that is salient, which is the king, because the frame of kingdom is very rich. Huh? There is, in the sentence, there is in our mind an activation of one of this mental image of kingdom. The salience of A, which is the role, king, the king. And in the input number 2, input 2, there is the activation of B, which is Charles. Huh? And the input 2 is a human being, the human beings. Charles is a human being. Among all human beings, Charles is the salient element, okay? And between mental spaces, there is this connection, this pragmatic connection between A and B. And we can explain how the blending process is done. So this connection activates the blending process, to another space, new space, where A is B, the Charles is the king. We have C, a blended role, and this is a blended space. So the vital relation here is capital to compress the roles in one role and to find the blended role. So here it's an example how roles and values can be across spaces, but they can be in the same space as well. I think I mentioned an example in a previous video about how we can have them inside the same mental space. So let's return to what they say. So they say, within mental spaces and across mental spaces, an element can be linked as a role to another element that counts as its value. Elements are roles or values, not in some absolute sense, but only relative to other elements. So, for example, king is valued. King is the role of value. Charles, it's here, but in another sentence is if I say president is head of state, heads of state is the role of president. But if I say Lincoln is a president, the president is the role of Lincoln, of the value Lincoln. So it depends. Fixing or identifying roles, it's relative to their values. It depends of the context and of the sentence, of course. The canonical opportunities for compressing roles are fascinating. So the compression here method is very much fascinating. Why? Because it's creative. In the simplest looking case, we have a role like Pope in one input and the value like Carol Wojtyla in the other. And the unique element Pope John Paul II in the blend. So here we have Pope here and its value Carol Wojtyla here in the input 2. And after the blend, we'll have one role, blended role, which is John Paul II in the blend here, C. Once we have a serial strings of such unique elements, Pope John XIII, Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul, Pope John Paul II, and all their precursors, we can make another blend in which there is one unique Pope who goes through many cycles, and we can say he was Italian for centuries, but in 1978 he was Polish for the first time when Pope John Paul, born Albino Luciani, died a month after Pope Paul VI, born Giovanni Montini. A newspaper ran the headline, Pope dies again. This is the power of the blend. Here they speak about how to multiply the blending process. If we have like sentence like blending space related to a sentence where John Paul II is mentioned, and another where John Paul III is mentioned, and another John Paul IV, 13, etc. All of them will connect with each others to multiply, to multiply the blending process, and we'll have, in this case, the mega blend. The mega blend, which is the Pope that encompasses all John Paul 1, 2, 3, 4, until 13 and more. And in this case, we can produce sentences and understand sentences like Pope dies again. In the literal meaning, how can a person die again? It's false, it's like nonsense. But with the blend, it's very meaningful. It's very creative sentence. So this is the concept of role and value that is very important, and it's a kind of vital relation, ubiquitous vital relation. So I explained what is vital relations theoretically. This is a kind of vital relation, the role. And we can have an example in human rituals. They mention an example in human rituals. And this is an example related to another vital relation, which is cause and effect. They say in page 880, the integration of cause and effect is often the central motivation of ritual. This is capital. And here we can perceive consciously the difference between cause and effect, even as we see their integration. So even when you see the integration, the product of the blend, you can consciously perceive this difference between cause and effect. What is the example that enables us to perceive the difference between cause and effect? When the bride at the wedding, so they take an example of the wedding, the rituals of the wedding in Western weddings, in Western tradition. When the bride at a wedding reception throws the bouquet into a crowd of single women, whoever catches the bride's bouquet is the next to be married. part of the effect carrying the bridal bouquet becomes part of the cause, the event of catching. So the cause is the event of catching, but it becomes an effect. And once it's catched, the bouquet. Why? Because now the woman who catched it, it's a bride. It's the new bride. She has the bouquet of the bride. So the cause is melted in the effect. It's integrated in the effect in our brains. An effect distant in time, namely the next marriage, becomes a feature of the person who has caught the bouquet. She is now the next in line. The ritual also creates the cause of the next marriage. There is now a woman who has caught the bouquet and is therefore next in line. A parallel ritual is the groom's throwing the garter. And it is often stipulated as part of the combined ritual that the single man who caught the garter and the single woman who caught the bouquet might be considered, at least for symbolic purposes, a possible match. So when the man catches the garter as well, he's next in line, he's a new groom. This is the integration, the power of the compressing roles between spaces. The ritual originally contains two spaces. The first is the present wedding, which rolls with roles for bride and groom filled by two specific people. The second is the unavoidable subsequent wedding with unfilled roles for bride and groom. Catching the bouquet and the garter fills these unfilled roles. It creates a symbolic fiction representative of that inevitable future wedding. The single man and the single woman become counterparts of the future bride and groom themselves by an identity, and therefore counterparts of the present bride and groom by analogy. In the integration network, these complex mappings launch a rich blended space in which the single woman and man take on aspects of the present bride and groom. In the blend, causes and effects are brought together. The single woman and man as causes of the future wedding are the imaginary bride and groom as effects, at least for the symbolic purposes of the ritual. The bouquet and garter, which cause them to be the future bride and groom, are also the symbolic equipment needed for the virtual courtship and wedding. This is very important. This example is very much important. So we have in this ritual an input one where there is two salient roles, which are the bride and the groom, and they are filled with specific persons that we know, their values, we know their values. In the input two, there is two roles as well, salient roles, which are bride and groom, but they are not filled. They become filled once the man, the single man and the single woman catch either the bouquet or the garter. The bouquet for the woman and the garter for the man. When once catched the bouquet and the garter, we know the values of both roles. And in the blend, we'll pass from 4 roles to 2. Groom and bride, but they are new, a new role. creative role, because we are convinced that they will be a couple. They are next in line. This woman who caught the bouquet is, in our eyes, a bride, and the groom who, or the man who, is groom, is groom in the blended space, who caught the garter is groom, the new groom. This was a very much passionate, interesting approach to rituals from the perspective of blending spaces and the concept of vital relations. There is as well a very passionate ritual about baby's scent, and they analyze it this way as well. So this is it for vital relations, and some examples. Sure, we'll have other examples like part and whole vital relation, which is very much important and recurrent. You know, vital relations are very important, are vital. Are conceptual relations that are vital for us. Why they are vital? Because we can't think or produce languages, speak without using these vital relations. But we use them unconsciously. It's in our brains. It's embodied. They are very much incarnated in our mind and the way it works, the hidden complexities of our mind. Thank you so much, dears. See you soon, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you.